1 lakh rupees, 1 lakh crore rupees for irrigation projects. The BJP has finally released its manifesto for Karnataka a week ahead of elections, and agriculture has got the top billing. The party has also made a slew of promises to women, which include sanitary pads for ₹1, smartphones for women below the poverty line. Releasing the manifesto, BJP State Unit President and Chief Ministerial candidate B.S. Yediyurappa said that the document was based on the vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. He also added that the welfare of farmers was the BJP's priority and promised that the party will announce a crop loan waiver of up to 1 lakh rupees in its first cabinet meeting if it comes to power.
We will allot 1.5 lakh crore rupees for the completion of the Niravari Yojana. We will have farmer loan waivers up to 1 lakh rupees in cooperative societies.
Niravari Yojana ಪೂರ್ಣ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕೋಸ್ಕರ ತೆಗೆದಿರುವಂತಹ ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ತೀರ್ಮಾನವನ್ನ ನಾವು ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಶ್ರೀ ಸುವಿಧಾ ಯೋಜನೆಯಡಿ ಬಿಪಿಎಲ್ ಕುಟುಂಬದ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರ
Women below poverty line will be given sanitary napkins for ₹1.
ಉಳಿದ ಮಹಿಳೆಯರಿಗೆ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ₹1 ಸ್ಯಾನಿಟರಿ ನ್ಯಾಪ್ಕಿನ್ ನೀಡಲಾಗುತ್ತೆ.
Karnataka, Rukmini Rao joins us now from Bengaluru. Rukmini, now both the BJP and the Congress have released their manifestos. How do the promises being made by both these parties compare? Take us through the key highlights from both the manifestos.
Well, we're just about a week away from polling, and we saw the Congress party release their manifesto last week, and of course BJP today released a competitive manifesto to take on the Congress in the state. If we are to look at a comparison of what the BJP and the Congress has to offer to the people of the state, for rural Karnataka, Congress of course went on to say that they would be looking at a massive outlay of close to 1.25 lakh crores on irrigation, and also look at building an agri corridor. BJP, on the other hand, has said that they will waive off farm loans of up to 1 lakh rupees, both taken from the PSU banks and also cooperative banks. And of course, BJP has said that their outlay for irrigation will be close to 1.5 lakh crores. To woo the women voters, of course, Congress said that they would provide free sanitary pads, and they would abolish tax on sanitary pads and hike widows' pension. BJP, on the other hand, has said that they will set up a 10,000 crore fund to create a large cooperative structure for women, and also provide sanitary napkins through PDF scheme for women of the BPL families, and at ₹1 for other women. Also looking at the IT sector, in fact, the Congress in fact announced increase of the IT revenues from the state from $60 billion to $300 billion in the next 5 years. However, BJP has said that they would be looking at developing Devanhalli, which is close to Bangalore, where the airport is, into an IT city. Also trying to woo the startup ecosystem in the state. Congress, of course, went on to say that they would provide close to 1 crore subsidy for startups, whereas the BJP wants to start an incubator called K-Hub with an outlay of close to 200 crores. Also taking on the infra, which has been a pain point really for the Congress government here. Of course, Congress went on to say that they will develop new airstrips and develop Mangalore Harbour, and also use the 8,000 crore mining fund for development. BJP, on the other hand, has gone on to say that they will develop something called Karnataka Mala, which is a 6-lane highway throughout the state, and also introduce metro in Hubli, Dharwad, and also upgrade several infrastructure projects in the state.
All right, Rukmini, appreciate you joining us. So that gives you a snapshot of how the two manifestos compare. The Congress put out its manifesto for Karnataka a week ago, and the BJP has done it today. Joining us now to discuss this further, Amit, Malviya, spokesperson of the BJP, Aishwarya, Mahadev, spokesperson for the Congress, and Harish, Ramaswamy, political analyst. Amit, let me start by asking you, just in terms of the number of pages that your manifesto has, it's longer and more in number than the Congress. Yours in excess of 60 plus, and the Congress was, I think, 44 or something to that effect. But in terms of promises that you make to the people of Karnataka, pretty similar to what the Congress is offering. But that apart, a lot of the promises that you make depend on the support and perhaps the benevolence of the centre. Have you got assurances from the centre that they will support you when you make promises like operationalizing a special coastal economic zone, on being able to bring in more regional connectivity via the Udan scheme, or being able to get in more railway lines through the state of Karnataka? I mean, these are part of your promises that you make in your manifesto, which will require the centre's intervention as well.
Well, Shereen, I think it's very obvious that if we have a government in the center and we have a BJP-ruled government in the state, the synergies are going to be extremely high, and that is what our manifesto also reflects. But I just want to make one quick point. I don't agree with the fact that our manifesto reflects what the Congress is saying as well, because if you see, the thrust of our manifesto is on empowerment. Every scheme is about ensuring that the segments that we are speaking about over a period of time become self-dependent and they start contributing actively to the economy. For example, a fund for women, which is not a support. It is building an ecosystem in which they can grow on their own, and it's an economically viable model to have. Similarly, on the farmer side, there has been a lot of trust on how to improve agriculture, along with the waiver that we have talked about. So it's very, very different in spirit from the Congress. There is very little use of the word subsidies, which the Congress has used in...
I'll interrupt you there. I said very similar, because when you talk about empowerment, the Congress manifesto, if I take a look at the Congress manifesto, also talks about exactly the same things. They talk about setting up agricultural zones. They talk about creating agri-corridors. They talk about setting up a fund, whether it is a 1 crore subsidy for startups, which includes a 25 lakh rupee loan, or it is interest-free or low interest rate loans to the MSME sector, to women, etc. So hence my point about the similarities between the promises that are being made by both parties, and you know there's nothing wrong with that, by the way.
Well, Shereen, the question must be asked of the Congress party, that they had been in power for 5 years. What did they do if their laundry list of promises is pretty much the same as we see as a vision for the government that we are going to form on the 15th of May? That's the important distinction to be made.
The question must be asked then to you, Amit Malviya. Your manifesto follows the Congress's manifesto. Your manifesto follows the Congress's manifesto. So was that inspiration?
All right, Shereen. But, you know, the fact is that the Congress manifesto suffers from so many infirmities. Let me just tell you for instance. They've said that they will make IT sector a $300 billion industry. Now, entire Karnataka's budget is 2 lakh crore, which is 1/10 of $300 billion. I don't know why they are talking about such outrageous number when they did precious little in the last 5 years. They talk about making biotechnology a $50 billion industry in Karnataka, where the overall India market is $11 billion. And if you compare it to the Karnataka overall state budget, it is just 1.6 times of it. So, you know, we have not made outrageous claims like the Congress has made. So I really request you not to draw parallels between us and them. We've really thought through it. They have just pulled something out of the hat and put it there, because probably the Congress believes nobody questions parties on manifestos. But we believe this is a promise that we made to the people, and it's just not another document.
All right, Aishwarya, Mahadev, you've made outrageous claims, says Amit Malviya, in your manifesto. The numbers that you've touted, from 30 billion, from 60 billion to 300 billion, that's the kind of revenue potential that you see for the Indian IT sector from the state of Karnataka. Amit Malviya saying that that's not doable. Similar picture for biotechnology. But outside of the outrageous claims, Aishwarya, let me start by asking you of what you have made of the manifesto.
Shereen, let me just clarify. You thought our manifesto was around 40-something pages. That's our concise version. This is our precise manifesto, where what we've done, we've given you what we promised. We said we'll give you a district-wise manifesto, and every single district in Karnataka has had a manifesto. The entire idea of the BJP manifesto is Namma Karnataka ke Namma Vachana, which means our word and our promise. They initially promised 224 manifestos for every assembly constituency, and have come out with this pitiable attempt at a manifesto where half of it is just rhetoric, where you're saying things like we will look to improve and whatnot. But at the end of it, if you look at their manifesto, first and foremost, it is a copy-paste manifesto, and second, trying to basically ride on the Modi wave. Almost more than half of all their manifesto promises depend on the benevolence of the central government and Narendra Modi. Also, the first big-ticket thing, which is the loan waiver, which we have already done without the help of the central government, is cruxed on the fact that Modi is going to help them do it if and when, or I don't think they ever will, but if and when they come to power. But the bigger ticket that they're talking about is things like Annadasoha, which is the same as our Annabhagya scheme, Negila Yogi, which is the same as our Raita Beluku scheme, Mangala Bhagya is a copy of the same, the loan waiver is something you've taken from us, Laptop Yojana is all the same. Your entire manifesto, basically, I think that's why you had a delay, right? Because you saw a manifesto and decided you wanted to pull out things from it. Is a lot of it is a copy of us. But simply at the end of it, BJP should have done one simple thing. Tried to fulfill the promises that remain unfulfilled from Yediyurappa's time, which honestly, when he did come in and speak about it, it did have some merit, or at least try and fulfill what Modi had promised. Because on both, you're not keeping your word on what you promised, so saying your Vachana budget is basically nothing but a falsehood. You may try to criticize the Congress on a lot of things, but if you look at the comprehensive way we have taken up the development over the 5 years, Amit is not pretty clear about it, but maybe Amit should look at the fact that the central government themselves have acknowledged us on a lot of these things in terms of IT, healthcare, ENAM and whatnot. But I think you need to look at it more holistically and see that the Congress manifesto has catered. But at the end of the day, you realize that the BJP's agenda is not the manifesto at all. The BJP has a base primal like vote bank they're going to try and cater to, and that's how they think they're going to come to power, which is by dividing the people of the state.
Let's stick to the manifestos and the promises that have been made, and let me go across to Harish, Ramaswamy, political analyst. Harish, thanks very much for joining us. You know, Amit and Aishwarya are going to continue to go at each other over who's made what promises and whose promises look better on paper, and these are promises on paper at this point in time. But Harish, your assessment of what is being offered to the voter of Karnataka, is this old wine in a new bottle? Are these promises dressed up to entice voters? Will it work?
Yeah, so actually, if you see the manifesto, it's quite impressive. It tries to tell you that they're going to do a lot of things which they promise. But as you know, how many people read manifesto is the first question. The second thing is, within the legislature, Public Accounts Committee doesn't actually look into what are the promises that were made and how many things were fulfilled. Now, if you look at the kind of impressions that this manifesto gives you, I don't think it leaves anybody. It turns out as if it's going to touch everybody and tell them that I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Look at pilgrimages, funding for farmers, everything. Now, if this is going to be really realized, I think we'll have a golden Karnataka, golden era.
You're absolutely right. If all of this, and I would like both Amit as well as Aishwarya to respond to that comment, because political parties get away with making all kinds of promises on the campaign trail and in their manifesto. But can we also have, you've given us numbers here of how much you intend to spend, 3 lakh for, different amounts that you've given down. I'm looking at the BJP manifesto, allocate 1,300 crores for building new pre-university colleges, institute a 3,000 crore rupee Rashtra Kshetriya Yojana, establish 750 new hostels and so on and so forth. But the question then is, how are you going to be able to fund this? Fortunately, at least as far as the state of Karnataka is concerned today, there is a revenue surplus. So, the fiscal issue is less of a challenge today. But also political parties in the future should be able to put the fiscal arithmetic along with the manifesto available as well, Amit.
No, most certainly, Shereen, and that's why I pointed out that when the Congress put out its manifesto and said that they will make IT industry revenue to $300 billion, which is 10 times the state's present budget size, then obviously it does not stack up, and the Congress has not done their homework. And they did similar thing in Gujarat as well. Their manifestos, promises were more than the state's budget. So clearly, the Congress does not believe in doing numbers. Perhaps either they don't understand or they think people don't look at it. But some of us do look at it, and some of us do track governments for what they promised and what they delivered. And importantly, Shereen, let's not forget, in a democracy, at the end of the day, the government is assessed on what they deliver. The people of this state are eventually going to take a call on the 12th, whether what the Congress is saying is any more genuine than what the BJP delivered for them and what it is promising. They're also going to look at the synergy that the central government and the state government, being ruled by the same party, is going to bring to the table. Now, whatever the Congress writes in its manifesto, if the messenger is not credible, like Rahul Gandhi or perhaps even Mr. Siddaramaiah, who has a lot to answer, even in his home district of Mysore, which has seen 256 children die in government hospitals and 60%, I'm coming to that, Shereen, and 60% of children in Mysore are malnourished. So now these are things that people are going to expect answers of from the Congress government and Mr. Siddaramaiah in particular. Now, whatever we've said, we've presented a leadership, we presented a document, we've presented our promise to the people, and we are telling them that, look, we have a governance track record, we've delivered. The central government has delivered XYZ infrastructure, whether it's rail, it's road, it's Swachh Bharat, it's rural housing. All of that has been done by the central government, in Karnataka, and we could do much more if we have a government that is more cooperative, that is more willing to work with the central government, and not a hostile government like Congress, because the Congress has no interest in working and resolving people's issues.
All right, Aishwarya, I'll give you a minute to respond to what you've heard there from Amit Malviya. And finally, let me ask you, Aishwarya, what do you believe is going to work with voters? I mean, as Harish said, I mean, we don't have people who are actually going to be looking through either 66 pages or the document that you showed up, or 44 pages of your manifesto highlights and so on and so forth. What is working on the ground? What is it finally going to take to woo and entice voters?
Shereen, I'd just like to highlight that over the past couple of weeks, the BJP leadership, including like Amit Malviya and all the other spokespersons, are talking about the sort of synergy between a state and a central government, almost as a form of a threat, saying if the central and the state government are not the same, you're going to see a lot of problems. This is their last-ditch effort to try and salvage the situation. He talks about Siddaramaiah's track record. Let's talk about Yediyurappa's. Actually, let's not. Let's tell you what we've done from 2013. We spoke about a manifesto, and this is not even us praising ourselves. The President of India himself asked for how our SC/ST sub-plan works. Our welfare schemes have been appreciated across the world for the fact that we've been able to cut down malnourishment, and also schemes like Matrapurna for women that you haven't seen anywhere else. Our free Annabhagya, the free rice scheme, is something no other BJP state has emulated, and now in their manifesto they want to copy. But let me tell you the most important thing, whether you read it or not, right? How do you track the progress? There is something called Pratibimba, which the Chief Minister himself initiated, where you see the level of completion of any single project. It is open source, you can go look. But at the end of it, Shereen, let's look at elections. They run on a lot of things. One is development. Rural Karnataka and even urban Karnataka has benefited massively from the sort of schemes we've had. The second thing also is who caters to the largest denomination of people, right? If you look across, we are the ones that speak for the backward classes, the Ahinda vote bank. We are the ones that speak for the minorities. We are the ones that speak for all the communities that the BJP never conventionally believed should even be in their party or their leadership, which you'll see from the composition of all their leaders and where they come from. You also have to look at the fact that at the end of the day, Karnataka in 5 years has been able to shield itself from the sort of catastrophic mismanagement of the central government, which is why I believe that the Congress is slated to come back to power without a hung assembly. So Modi, Amit and whoever else can say whatever they want about us, but the people know precisely what we have given them over 5 years. So I do believe that on the 15th, you will see us back on air talking about how sweet victory is.
All right, let me get a final comment in from Harish Ramaswamy. Harish, what do you believe will be the determining factors at play here in the battle for Karnataka? And I'll end by asking you that.
Yes. In Karnataka, the major problem that we need to attend to is the infrastructural development, which is very important. And Siddaramaya's government has done quite a bit for the pro-poor policy through the poor policies. And this has actually reached the people. Now, let's understand that governments are not for charity. And whenever we take up any program, it should be beneficial. Now, somebody was commenting on the Annabhagya and things like that. Now, this has actually brought certain development there at the bottom level. I myself have noticed that the migration has come down because of this. Now, if you read any book like Peter Drucker's, which says what government should not do or cannot do, I think we need to understand that instead of promising and making government a liability, we should be working towards a partnership between government and the people so that we can bring about certain changes and real changes. We must mean it. That's what I try to see.
All right. The voter of Karnataka will decide on the 12th which way they decide to swing. Will it be the Congress party retaining power, or will Amit Malviya be proven right? We'll find out only on the 15th. But Amit Malviya, Aishwarya and Harish, appreciate you joining us here on CNBC TV 18 on the Political Exchange. For now, from all of us here, goodbye and many thanks for watching.